microcasting for your city, Talkapolis. This is Music Business Week, Episode 2, recorded August 2nd, 2012. Our guest, promoter and tour manager, Barry Ladd. Hi there, everybody. I'm Greta Gaines. You are watching Music Business Week here at Talkapolis. Our guest this week is Mr. Barry Ladd. Welcome to the show. It's great to have you here.
It's great to be here.
What we want to share with our viewers and listeners is inside information about how to be successful in the music business. So you've worn a lot of different hats. You are a musician, a drummer. You are a promoter. You have a series called Nashville Flipside, and you're also a tour manager. So just give us an intro and some tips on, one, how you balance all those different hats and what you've learned from all your years in the music business about how to be successful, make friends, and influence people.
As far as being successful, it's, people ask me every day, because I've done everything. I've worked in the corporate world for 20 years before I realized that I wasn't a corporate person. And they go, man, you've did everything. What have you not done? And I'm like, be successful. And honestly, I think balance is an illusion. I wake up every day trying to get my hand on the ball, and thank God I have a great team around me that helps, and I'm in the forefront, so I get a lot of the blessings of interviews and media, things like this. So a lot of the stuff comes to me right off the bat, but it's the small family behind me that really makes everything great. But
let's talk about Nashville Flipside. Let's break down these different categories. Tell me about your work as a promoter.
Flipside actually birthed out of an event I started in August of 2009, and it was called the Speakeasy Sessions. And basically it was about promoting other genres in Nashville. And, I love country music. I was raised on country music. I've toured with country music artists. And my thing is this: when you say rhythm and blues or you say soul, Nashville does not come to your mind. Chicago,
Memphis,
New York, Memphis, St. Louis, all those cities do. But I think if we as a city worked on that, you would say, how about soul? As opposed to Atlanta, you would go, Nashville's got a really great soul thing going on. Mm-hmm. And and this is something we can do. This is not a pipe dream. We could actually make this happen. And I chose those genres because that's basically what I grew up with as well. I mean, when I was growing up in Portland, Tennessee, we were poor. And I had 345s. I had Elvis, I had Wild Thing by the Trogs, and I had the Jackson 5. And I played those records over and over again as a drummer in the barn, of course, because Mom won't let you play in the house. And, later on for me it was Bill Withers and Marvin Gaye and Stevie Wonder and all these people. And this is music that still motivates me today. It gets me up off the couch and gets me moving.
So you're saying there is this kind of music in Nashville now, but unless it gets promoted and unless the rest of the world knows about it, we're not going to open up our tourism to include fans of those kinds of music.
And exactly, and just what you said, a lot of people, when you say neo-soul, they're not aware that we have neo-soul artists here, and we have great ones,
Name a few.
Lo Carter, right off the top of my head.
Okay.
She's amazing. And the thing is for a long time, a lot of these, what Nashville labels as urban artists, the clubs that they were doing were very limited. And I saw that. And I started the Speakeasy Sessions at the Listening Room. And it popped off great. Mm-hmm. It really, really did. And I think what happened with the Speakeasy Sessions was it ran its course. Mm-hmm. We live in a day and time where nobody goes to this same club every night. It's not like Cheers, where Norm comes in every night. Mm-hmm. We live in a world where, especially in Nashville, we wake up every morning, We've got 10 to 50 shows to choose from on a daily basis.
It's crazy.
Which is great as a music lover, but as a promoter, it's hard.
And as a musician.
It is.
It is.
And the hard thing is, you know, I go into all this stuff about trying to get a date. I want to book this date. It's like a crystal ball thing, you know. Okay, the Titans can't be playing that night. The Sounds can't be playing that night. Okay, let me see who's playing at Bridgestone.
Can't have the CMT awards or
exactly.
Yeah.
We can't have any of this stuff going on
Right.
that's going to take away from the piece of the pie. And then you book your date, and then it never fails. A week before, oh, there's Keith Urban at the Bridgestone, you know, and it's like me as a small guy promoter. You know, I book my dates a month in advance, and I really prep and promote hard for that month. But people with the power of Keith Urban and James Taylor and what have you, they can call up Bridgestone tomorrow and go, hey, I need a date. And they'll go, okay.
Exactly. But
You
you
know.
get, I think,
And it ruins the whole formula.
what must be a part of your job is when things don't go well. So you put together a great lineup, and we all know that the talent is here. But let's just say that people didn't show up, you didn't make any money. How do you run damage control when those things happen?
And you know what, I got to be honest with you. For me, I have probably lost more money than made money. But it's out of the love, and it's out of a greater good. It's out of paying it forward. It's out of good karma hopefully coming back, and it has. I mean, all the way to sitting right here, you know, with you and Yoshi. If you love something, it's like Nashville being a musician. If you're doing it for the money, you're in the wrong spot.
Keep your waitressing job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. But it's a fact. If you get into this business, any form of it, being a player or a promoter or whatever, and you're in it for the money, you know, anybody worth their salt will tell you in Nashville's a great hub, but you got to get out of Nashville to make any money.
You seem so sweet, though, but do you have a tough side? Do you ever have to go and collect money and do ugly things?
It hasn't been so much on the collection end of it, but it's the stereotypical people take your kindness for weakness. And I do have a very thick skin, but when I was younger, I was a little bit more impulsive, you know, and reactive to people's reaction. And as you get older, you get into this wonderful spiritual thing, and I think that's what I'm going into. You know, I mean, I have faith in my shows. Even if we lose on one, it's not going to stop me. You know, I mean, if we all stopped from the first roadblock that hit us, where would we be?
Right.
We wouldn't have anything here.
But you're saying you love music not only as a musician but as a fan, and that you do have faith in the big picture of your chosen life course.
You know, I love autobiographical movies, you know.
Me too.
And the great thing about those movies is usually after that person dies, the thing that they were working for happens after they're dead.
Yeah.
So, you know, with me, I'm like, you know, if 10 or 20 years from now, the events that I started and people saw that and started events, you know, with that idea in mind, if 10 to 20 years from now it made a difference in an artist's life, that's my payback.
Wow.
You know, and it's not about the money. That's not going to come. I don't care about that, you know.
Yeah.
I was born with nothing, and I'll probably die with nothing, but that still doesn't mean that I'm not going to pursue my passion.
Well, that's a great philosophy. What about dealing with bands when you're doing this SOS band tour? What are some of the challenges in and advice maybe that you could give other people in the business who are attempting to be a tour manager, work with bands closely? What are some of the challenges of dealing with bands in that capacity?
You've got to have a lot of patience, and you've got to be able to bend. And you know, one of the things that I learned a long time ago, I had the blessing of working under Leanne Womack. And the thing that she taught me out of her mouth was, Barry, the rules that applied yesterday don't apply today. And it changes every day. You know, the things that worked yesterday don't apply today. And I kind of like that anyway, because I'm always thinking about tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sitting here talking with you now, but I'm thinking about tomorrow
Right.
on this side of my head. But no matter what age you get, you've still got to be able to be teachable.
Right.
And I am. You know, I'm 49 years old.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm absorbing more today and have a greater attention span of what the greats, you know, I look at the greats.
Right.
You know, my hero is the guy that created Woodstock.
Right.
He was 18 years old. He started it all by himself, and my God, it blew up.
Right.
You know, and I admire that guy
Yeah.
because, you know, I have a wonderful business partner, but when I started this whole thing out, it was all by myself. And pretty soon it got bigger than me. But the thing about stepping into the tour manager spotlight is being able to learn from others. And if you make a mistake, and you're going to, recovery is so important. You know, how to fix it really quick.
You have to have a really strong, I think, disposition to be a good tour manager, because, you know, I've been out on tour and seen the tour managers are always the hardest working people. They're the last one to bed, they're the first one up, and, you know, crap runs downhill. So it's like, it just seems like it's a job where you have to eat a lot of stuff from musicians who are frustrated about something else, but you kind of have to have a thick skin, don't you, to deal with artists?
You do, and you know, I have a theory. It's like if I'm at home and I'm, you know, doing my promoting or whatever, and I'm not, the phone isn't ringing and everything goes smooth, something's wrong.
That's right. It's
You
like,
know?
what's going on here? Yeah.
But you know, usually every morning I'll wake up with some little fire to put out, and that just makes me stronger. And then there are some people that you've got to go there with.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's just part of it.
Handhold.
Yeah, and you know, if you look at some of the major guys in Nashville, they didn't get to where they are today by being nice, and they had to be firm. You know, it's like a rock solid security, firm but polite, or polite but firm, whatever their thing is.
Right.
And it's true, you know. And the thing is this, and I say this every day to somebody: if this was easy, everybody would be doing it.
Right.
But anything that's worth its greatness is not going to be easy. You
Yeah.
know? And you've got to pay your dues.
Yeah.
And so I still feel like I am.
And you feel like you're open to mentoring some people coming up who want to get into this line of work? Do you meet youngsters on the business side much?
I do, and I love to help them. And you know, the thing is I tell them my mistakes. Mm-hmm. I share with them my mistakes, and it's a lot longer list.
Yeah.
Because you know what, the great things that happen at Nashville Flipside happen. They happen on their own. I don't have anything to do with it. Right. I don't believe that. I think it's the spirit of all the groups involved. And you know, most people that we work with, they're glad to play, and they're glad to be paid, and that was a part of my motivation for doing the speakeasy sessions, which went into Nashville Flipside, was being a drummer and a percussion player in Nashville. This is a singer-songwriter town.
Yeah.
People come here to write songs. Drummers and percussion players in Nashville are a luxury.
Right.
They're not necessarily a necessity.
They're not the first or the second guy who gets called.
Not at all.
Right.
Not at all. And you know, it wasn't that long ago where I was one of the few percussion players, and we had 2 or 3 other guys who were really amazing percussion players. And Nashville still hasn't fulfilled its use of what a percussion player can do. You know, I started playing with singer-songwriters so many shows that I didn't know what was day and what was night. But singer-songwriters started realizing, wow, just that little backbeat on the cajon, you know, the little beatbox, made their music so much better.
Can set me apart. Yeah, a little bit.
But I got tired of playing for free. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at other bands that are playing for free. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to create this thing out of thin air, and basically did. And having played a lot of clubs in Nashville, just went to the club owners and went, I've got an idea. This is what I think. This is what I want to do for you. Let me work on it. And I've had shows that sold out. I've had shows that I took a bath on. That's the reality of everybody. You know, even the late Bill Graham out in San Francisco, the great promoter that he was.
Yeah.
he didn't walk away with a sellout every show, and nobody in Nashville is going to get a piece of the pie every night.
No, you just got to stay in it to win it.
You do.
Well, Barry, thanks so much for being here and helping our listeners understand a little bit more about the backstory about what you do, because so much of what you do is behind the scenes. You see the show, but you don't necessarily know all the tremendous work that went into creating that show, and you're one of the guys making all that happen, and I appreciate you being here today.
It's an honor to be here, and you know what the thing is too is I still love the mystery factor. Think about it. Back in the day of Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin, they wouldn't put all their pictures and stuff on the albums, and you wondered who these guys were. And that's one thing that I think music is missing today is the element of the mystery.
I agree.
Because mystery still sells.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, thank you for taking a little of the mystery out of the business behind what you do.
Oh, I'm honored. Thank you.
You're watching Music Business Week here on Talkapolis. Microcasting for your city, Talkapolis.